Today I'm going to talk about being life living. So there are some affirmations we need to say sometimes just to access uh, the core emotions that prevent us from being life living itself. And before we go into those, which have to do with control. So life is living through me. I am life living experience. I am being breathed. I have to surrender to my control to the broader quality of life that is in all living beings in order to live, to be life living. So this unity in many many traditional religions, you'll have a male aspect joining with a female aspect, or the countenance, the appearance of being the skin of living life, joining with the presence. So when we pay attention to the experience, we find that oneness from the duality, and often this releases that tension, resistance of life not doing what we want, of many difficulties that are hard to breathe through. It may feel like we're grass that's trying to be planted on a mountainside. And if you are a farmer, cultivator, gardener, you will know that the hardest place to grow is when it's on a very steep incline. And this is what life is like. We're climbing, and we've got burdens. You can imagine someone with a big, heavy backpack on a scooter, a manual scooter that you have to those razor ones, we have to keep pushing, and going up a hill, it's so difficult. You're not thinking about roots, you're just trying to get up the hill. So we've got a lot of baggage and control issues. The dependency comes out where we want full security and we may not be actually living life. We're looking for life to communicate with us, that our seeds are growing, but it takes the living experience, those moments, feeling what it feels like to be in so much pressure at the threshold, feeling so much exposure, whether it's weakness, humiliation, fear, fragility, disappointment, real life experiences. These moments are where our seeds are nurtured, when we don't dissociate in those hard to reach places from the growth by just staying present, paying attention there, and becoming one there. Is how we can move through from control issues to be life living itself. So these affirmations, you can repeat after me. I am not a means to an end, and no one else is either. I deserve to feel appreciated. I'm not here to be used to control life. Others deserve to be appreciated, not used to control life. There is nobody so far that I need to know me. There's nobody out there that needs to know me. There's nobody out there that's close up enough to know me the way I can know myself. I do need undivided attention without any agenda given to me. I don't want to trust anybody who has a secret motive. It may even be secret to them. I want to dedicate my energy and time to what matters to me. I want to choose the sacrifices I make. I don't want to be guilted or fooled into them. Being lonely might feel familiar, even when being discontent kind of sucks, or even when insecurity is unpleasant. I regret looking at people, the wrong people, to approve of me and understand me. I regret doubting my inherent worth and ability to connect. This current moment, every current moment, has the medicine for my self-esteem. Being present stops the stories that aren't relevant or even real based on the actual environment that's going on, the climate of my life. I didn't get the message of how precious I am and how precious all of life was, especially from my father. Sometimes I do things people crave or need so I can be precious to them. Sometimes others do things that I crave or need to be precious to me. I forget being a healer is humbling. It requires people to be sick, to inspire others, to comfort others, to love others. They need love, comfort, and inspiration from me. For a healer to love me, comfort me, inspire me, I need from them. Being a healer is humbling because it requires people to be sick or in lack. I don't have to prove I'm innocent or lovable anymore. I'm grateful for life, for feeling alive even when it's painful or scary or numbness. That is life living itself. I choose life because life has chosen me. I choose life because life chose me even when I wasn't worthy or innocent based on my estimations that had become perverted. I choose life because life chose me. I see I wasn't valuing the preciousness of my own life, and therefore I wasn't valuing the preciousness of the lives of others. I was craved and fixed. I was craving and fixed for something to hold on to. I recognized it was a false sense of security. I wanted control. And now we have 11 breaths. We're going to breathe in deeper and deeper to release the control. We've got to feel what brings us to the control. We're going to start from grief. This comes from the fear of impermanence, but also the loss of everything. Everything in this world is transient. There's nothing to hold on to. The seeds grow, they become trees. The trees become fruit bearers. The fruits have seeds. The fruit fall. Animals eat them. The seeds are replanted. The original tree dies. It becomes food for the new trees. This grief, we let go of the grief. Feel grief head to toe. The whole body becomes one with the life force of grief. It's a byproduct of preciousness. We let it go. We feel inside of that abandonment, not wanting to be let go of or letting go. Feeling that separateness for a second, just feeling it in the whole body. And letting it go, the whole body. It informs us about preciousness, about life living. Now we go into helpless. There's nothing we can do to change this. Feeling it in the whole body, releasing it from head to toe. Feeling the fear, the scaredness, feeling scared. Front to back, right to left. Back to front, left to right. Letting it out. Feeling burdened. It's too much. Just feeling that, feeling the overwhelm. Letting it go. Feeling stuck. Feeling stuck. It's too heavy. Paralyzed, stuck. Breathing through that, letting it go. Feeling deficient. Not enough. Eek. Frantic, not enough. And breathe through it, let it go. Feeling empty now. Feeling the emptiness. Hollow void. Releasing that emptiness. Feeling worthless. And letting it go. Feeling so tiny. Breathing it in, that insignificant tininess, letting it go. Finally now, breathing in to the non-existence. I don't exist. I don't take up any space. I'm not heard, I'm not seen. I don't matter. Feeling that and now letting it go. Shaking it off, stretching it out, letting that practice be the medicine. And now we look at how we replace this wound of needing to exist. And so we look for control, needing to live, so we're trying to control life. We just want to live, we just want to exist. And we're releasing this for the energy of devotion to be used somewhere else. All that devotion to control is going to be offered to us now to use somewhere else. Pro-possibility is pro-life versus the loyalty to control, which is death. The loyalty to death, the loyalty to control is saying, it's going to end, so I have to be ready. There's not going to be something new. It's peculiar how we end up wanting so badly to force life to die so that we can live. So we're just going to reset that alignment, so much more comfortable, so much more content with life, in a relationship with life. We're going to learn to trust life and digest life and let life brew in us, simmer. We're going to let go. So now I wrote a few ways in which we can let go of control issues. This is my list. You're welcome to write your own. Letting go of the salesperson and just letting it, whatever it is, speak for itself and attract for itself. Not being afraid there won't be enough recognition or desire for whatever I might need to offer. Not looking for the loopholes constantly, like instead taking baby steps, not trying to get to the end result right away and cross the finish line. So goals are, for example, driving a car or getting an electric scooter, some way of transportation, my income to become a little more sustainable and reliable. So I am looking to heal some of the aspects physically that prevent me from doing some of the work I used to do. And also moving to a more stable home. I've just actually made some progress with my landlord today on finalizing their selling the house. And, we made an agreement. And so just these baby steps are going to get me where I need to go. I'm not looking for a loophole, easy way out. Some of my best wisdom comes from the people who can't drive, don't have money, don't have a home. So like, in other words, people who don't follow these exact ways can often guide me best because they're not in that rat race. And I have a few people I listed here to myself, that getting guidance from people who don't covet what I'm looking for will help me to stay balanced and not get too wrapped up with these pathways, false security. To exist, I don't need to have better transportation or have my landlord agree to exactly the terms I want or, have an income that is as high as I used to have. But if I release control and I do my part without attachment to the outcome, it becomes possible. Switching from seeing burdens to opportunities, recognizing for example, I get to be strong now. I get to be awake now. I get to make peace with this now instead of, focusing on this is such a burden. Recognizing the inefficiency of preparing constantly for rejection and judgment by only showing small pieces of myself that are polished. Excitement for what feels good versus relational opposition as a power struggle byproduct. So Freud talks about reaction formation, where we will almost have a reaction that we form. So it's the opposite. We want to appear excited about socializing, but actually we have tremendous anxiety. We might go, yay, I'm so excited. But that's a reaction formation. So in that case, I'm actually oppositionally relating to myself. I'm saying you can't be socially anxious. You've got to be excited. And so that's the first step of where, I'm being dishonest with myself. I'm going to be dishonest with others. It comes across when I really care about something and I want to feel good and I want to be excited for it. And I pretend I'm aloof. It doesn't matter to me. I am apathetic, like, can anybody tell that I really want that? I don't want to show I want it because then someone might be too power hungry and take it away. And, and then anxious about what I want. Again, a power struggle. Like if I get too excited, it's not going to happen. Preparing for the disappointment. Not filling all the space or silence is the foundation. So existing without needing to be existing by being seen and heard. stop trying so hard or following the rules so rigidly is from this guy named, I forget his name now, but he has the concept of the 6 thinking hats. And you can find him on YouTube, and he talks a lot about how sometimes you need the car is the intelligence, and the thinking is the driving skills. So he talks about how we need different hats sometimes just for neutral information, for feelings and intuition. Well, that was one actually. Then another one is for critical thinking, like problem solving. Another one is to see the good. He says we all need to work on this one much more. And the one I'm talking about here is the one that prepares us for caution. It says don't do this because you get in trouble. It assesses risk. So this one sometimes I got to take off a little and free flow and look at the information. Look at what's actually happening here. What am I trying to prove? Am I only allowed to exist if I am perfect in such and such ways? Will I ever be good enough? So these kinds of stop trying, stop forcing, let's go of the control issues. I'm not in control of whether I'm good or not. It's more about what my thoughts are and if my actions are compassionate toward myself and other, and if I'm honest. If I believe in a loving creator, will help me to be a loving channel from that creator. The source. Realizing my endurance is high due to my upbringing teaching me to tolerate and accept. This is a simple awareness that I happen to have high endurance and tolerance. If I'm able to acknowledge that, I can trust that I can get through anything because of what I have been through. So the past informs us now. It's the memory that gives us the strength to, when I'm in it, it's just the way it is. I don't know better. So we don't even realize that sometimes we're like, this is so hard, but we've been through much harder. And we're growing every day. So we've been growing in all these different areas, and this area needs to grow too. Caring about writing, cooking, art, learning, variety options, socializing, beauty, loving cultivation, nature. These are ways that life lives itself through me in non-linear ways, associative ways, creative ways, circuitry ways, intimate ways. This is about life living on its own terms, being the space for the garden that we're growing in ourselves, or even physically a real garden, but just letting the things that are a process happen on their own terms, and we become the facilitator. And we are more interested and curious. It's not us doing it. Letting go of control issues is very liberating. Instead of preparing for rejection and judgment, recognize the inappropriate usage of the tree of knowledge. How quickly wanting to know has me judging. I know. I'm going to be ready. I'm going to be prepared, for the rejection and the judgments. And this is a lot like, I want those close to me to be reliable and dependable, but I may not be that way if I'm always trying to know everything. The same way I want them to be open and listening and not prepared to speak to what I say and make it be matching their opinions as a capacity for resisting the urge to know. I become more prepared for real life instead of controlling the actual problem that may come up by being sure I know what the problem is. The problem can be just with finding problems all the time. Finally, there are natural cycles of sacred energy that utilize, which is the life force energy, natural cycles from life to death. From, you wouldn't eat a rotten fruit, but you would eat a ripe fruit, but you wouldn't eat an underripe fruit. So there's this, what is sanctified and what's profane for us. What is, a body we want to love and take care of. It's a holy place for us to exist in this world, for life to live. We're the skin of God, some might say. However, if we are letting it get, in mourning, some cultures will not wash their body, wear fresh clothes, cut their hair. In other words, mourning shows us this is, not sanctifiable for us at this time. So that's just an example, but really like to know, for example, with the Sabbath, there are some things we don't do, or when you come into a conversation, this is a mundane example. If you come into a conversation that's already ongoing, it would be profane to start screaming curse words and acting like an imbecile. We would all kind of know that, but at the same time, we have to apply that into the spiritual realm. We have to respect the sacred cycles. This is a life force energy. You wouldn't want to go out with your body wearing a t-shirt in, -5-degree weather, Fahrenheit. And you wouldn't want to wear 3 winter coats bundled up on you in various sizes, like a burrito in the hot summer. It would be what we might call profane here in the spiritual world, to act inappropriate and be inappropriate and make sort of casual and common what needs to be respectable and what needs to be honored, the life cycle itself. And so this is a way to give up control. There are things that are not going to be available because it's past the cycle. You bought some veggies and then they went bad. The relationship turned sour because some things came out and were revealed. So trusting the cycle of yes turns into no, and no turns into yes, and on becomes off, and up becomes down, and down becomes up, and off becomes on, and trusting that cycle and not kind of trying to make something on become off. That would be disrespectful and it would be profane. So to be sanctified, to live in a sacred way, is to honor these cycles of birth and death, and on and off and off and on. Thank you so much. I hope that you have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.